hot topics, and we got a lot to talk about today. We got NBA, we got playoff football. But first, before we get into it, I'd like to introduce our panel. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce my friend and yours, Bo 2.0. How you doing, Bo?
What up, world? Happy New Year. Let's get it.
All right, all right. We got the young and talented Mr. Courtney Denzel Chappelle. How you doing, my brother?
It's good, world. I'm all right. I can't complain. Let's go.
Okay, we got the professional, Mr. D. Stanfield. Talk to me. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. Let's get it popping. 2019. Let's go.
All right, and we got a special guest. We got Mr. Amir Ice Drake in the building. I like everybody to give him a warm, fresh perspective. Welcome. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be part of the show, man. I watch y'all a lot. Devon's my cousin, and he tags me in the link. So I like what y'all doing. And when he asked me, to be a part of it, I said no problem.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. So it's definitely 219, and it's time to get right into it. So Paul George. Paul George, he's on a tear right now. Amir, I want to start with you since you're the special guest. Is this for real, or is this just, I don't know, a streak?
No, this for real, man. I believe when he signed back, he had something to prove. The playoff P thing didn't end so well, even though he did play good. But no, this the PG-13 that man we've seen in Indiana, and with the little turmoil with Melo and Russ from last year, it kind of got overshadowed the work he was putting in. But now it's all focused on him and Russ, and man, it's for real. It's for real.
Okay. Now, is this a situation where he's finally 100% healthy, or you think he was healthy before? He just needed to learn how to play with Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Westbrook.
Um, I think he's been healthy, but playing with Russ is a tough task, man. And both of them boys are like two of my favorites. So
Okay.
I was geeked up when they both teamed up, but by the end of them playoffs, man, me being a former scorer, I would have had to see Russ in the locker room. Man, I ain't gonna even lie, man. My point guard taking 80 shots in 2 games, man. Nah, like you gotta calm it down. I don't care how good you are. Like you can't just be out there going for self. But I think this year they probably had a talk over the summer. And me personally, I don't think Paul George wanted to play with Bron. So it was either
Okay. Okay.
he
And
go.
I tell you, I tell you, if Fresh Perspective was to play like the Fresh Perspective Sports team was to get out and play a pickup game, our point guard would be Courtney Chappelle. So I want to take that next question. I want to take it over to Courtney. How do you feel about what Paul George is doing? Is this a real thing or just a streak?
Nah, Paul always been a baller. He just got hurt and had to redevelop himself. His team changed up on him when he got hurt. So it's a lot of adjusting. Then you switch cities. Um, this is on par for, but he was playing defense like this last year. He just wasn't offensively who he was last year. He good now. I don't really see it as a problem. I told you before he wasn't leaving Oklahoma. He's a small city guy. He like the fish and chill. He's not really a big city guy. Um, and contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think Russ got this big team enigma type thing. People really mess with Russ. Like Russ really be out there, really hang out with Russ, really mess with Russ. Russ is a teammate. Nobody complains about Russ until they see a negative stat in a loss column. But nobody will tell you he went 2 for 18 the other night and still had a triple double. He went two
Mm,
for 18 the other night and then he still gave you 13 rebounds and 13 assists and 5 steals and 2 blocks and 13 points. So I mean, we could complain about efficiency and everything, but he's filling up other parts of the stat sheet. Or we
okay.
could go, or we could go. He could be super efficient and he don't get you nothing. Then what would we say?
Okay, so with everything that you're saying, is OKC for real? Like, can they really make some noise in the
No,
playoffs?
no, they don't gotta. They don't. They missing. They missing one more piece. I don't even. It don't got to be a superstar, but they missing one more piece. I don't see nobody on their bench if Paul George and Russell is just completely struggling. I don't see nobody on their bench that could actually go get them 20, 30. Don't get me wrong, Dennis is nice, but I don't want to see Dennis in attack mode trying to get you 30 in a series. I want to see him doing what he's doing, 18, bunch of assists, making the right plays. But they can make a shot, but to go all the way, I don't think they got that much power yet.
Okay, I got to bring in a professional. Talk to me about this, man. What's your thoughts on OKC, Paul George, what he's doing right now, and their chances to really make some noise in the playoffs?
Well, I think that to answer your first question, to echo what I said, Paul George has been healthy for the last 2.5 years. He came in real strong last year, but the chemistry wasn't necessarily there, and that may be due to the 12 to 15 shots that was being taken by Carmelo that Paul George could have used in his own arsenal. However,
That's
this year,
false.
whatever, Courtney, this is my take, not yours. So, like I said, that could be due to that, and Paul George did allude to that because when the Melo was hurt earlier in the year for the 3 games, Paul George they asked Paul George what the difference between having Melo on the court and what and not, and Paul George specifically said, "I had more shots. That's why I had the 38 points and the 31 points because I had more shots, so I had more touches. I was able to get a better rhythm." And I think that you are seeing the remnants of that trickle over into a more consistent Paul George this year. Although, as a Mellow fan, I think that me and Ice can both say that it hurts to have to say that. Uh, do I think that OKC is for real? I definitely think that they are a serious contender, but I'll echo what Courtney said. I think that they're missing another piece, and that piece is an offensive minded piece that can come in off the bench and get them buckets when both PG 13 and Russ is giving them nothing. However, one thing that I didn't agree that Courtney said was that nobody is complaining about Russ when he shoots 2 for 18 because Russ is a good teammate. Look, LeBron James and Melo are some of the best of friends, but LeBron James ain't crying for Melo to be on the team. So just because you're good friends doesn't mean that you need to be my business partner. And I think that people need to take those things into consideration before they make that type of analysis.
Interesting, interesting. Last but not least, I need that Bo 2.0 flow. Talk to me about OKC and Paul
Hold on,
George.
bro. Before you say that, bro, I'm gonna say this on this podcast because I'm calm and I'm chilling. D, don't target me. Those is 2 shots. I'm gonna let you live. D, don't target me. D, I'm trying to give you respect and let you be fair.
Hey,
D, don't
hey,
target me,
hey, hey!
bro. Do not make me.
If you gotta
D, do
come for me,
not make
Court,
me get
if you
up,
gotta
bro.
come
Just
for me,
live your
Court,
life.
go ahead and wake up out your sleep, man. Because I know what you're sitting next to. So go ahead and wake up out
Don't
your sleep.
don't target me, bro.
Hey, all right, man. Well, look, let's let Bo 2.0 get in real quick and do his thing. Talk to me about OKC and Paul George, brother.
Well, I've been liking Paul George, man. Before the injury, I had Paul George ahead of Kawhi Leonard. I thought he was the third best small forward in the NBA before the bad knee injury he had. Okay, see, I think they are for real. You got to understand that they still got Andre Roberson coming back. He's not an offensive player, but he is a defensive player. So with him coming back, that's still less points. And besides Golden State, like who's the you can't really say who's the clear cut number 2 right now. But I like OKC chances. As far as Russell Westbrook, man, he always been a loyal teammate. He stand up for his teammates. He's never gonna talk bad about his teammate. He just one of them people that you want on your side when it's time to go show down. I mean, he's just one of them guys. You know what I mean? He got that dog in him.
Mm-hmm.
Paul George always been legit though, man. You know what I mean? But he a baller. He always been a baller. But as far as the third option, it's gonna have to be Dennis. Dennis gonna have to in the playoff time. Dennis gonna have to give you between 15 to 18 points, and they're gonna need more for Steven Adams too, because they pay him $100 million. He gonna have to do more than just play defense and get rebounds. He going Steven Adams should better give you what Capella give you. Capella be averaging, Capella averaged 18, 19, 20 points a game. Steven
Oh,
Adams should better give you that.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, and that's an interesting segue because we're talking about Russell and Russell being a good teammate, somebody who's gonna stand up for his team. I remember how he didn't let the media try and punk Steven Adams, and you know when Kevin Durant won his MVP, talked about he'd run through a wall for Russell. But I want to talk about it's been some other teammates in the news this past week that haven't necessarily been team first guys. First, we got Antonio Brown with the Steelers, and we also got Jimmy Butler. So first, I want to talk about Jimmy Butler. We're going to stick with the NBA real quick. Ice, it seemed like all of these problems continue to follow Jimmy Butler. So is the jury out now? Can we definitely say this is Jimmy Butler, or is it something else?
man, I was sticking up for this dude in Minnesota. Like, man, Wiggins soft, Cat soft. But Jesus Christ, like, what's the problem? How you want it? You get traded. You get traded to a contender, and you still causing havoc in the locker room. Yo, bro, man, like that man gonna be in China. I don't care how good he is. Ain't nobody in the league put up with that, man. Like, I understand you want to win, but dude, you just got there. You the new fish, and you
Yeah.
over here going at the coach crazy. These young boys got more respect for the coach than you do, man. I don't know, man. I'm starting to believe it's Jimmy. Like, this 3 strikes, you're out of here. Like, he got his 2 with me. That's his 3rd, man. He gotta go.
Oh man, okay. All right. Actually, I'm gonna break up the rotation. I'm gonna go back to Bo. Talk to me, man. Is it Jimmy?
Man, I blame the media, man, because they
Ooh,
label him a superstar. Me and Courtney been on wax that say that he wasn't no superstar, man. Jimmy Butler is at best your 3rd best player on the championship team, man. At best, he's a good player. He's a hard worker. He played both sides of the ball, but he's not a superstar, man. And my problem is he get when the game is on the line, he get the last shot. So what are you complaining about?
exactly.
You get your touches. The first option is Jordan. That is you. Ben Simmons don't want to shoot.
Exactly.
So what are you complaining about? I don't get it. I don't get it. Why are you complaining? You did the same thing in Minnesota. When you came to Philly, you got to know, man, this is Embiid and Simmons' team. Play your role. But the media may label him a superstar, and I blame him for that. Because he's not a superstar. He's not one of them guys. He's not. That's all I got to say.
All right. And speaking of superstars, Courtney, please talk to me. Is it Jimmy?
Hey man, y'all told me Cat was soft. Andrew Wiggins don't got hard. Y'all told me the Bulls didn't have the right amount of people. Y'all told me he wanted to work hard. He just wanted to be a winner. Uh, hey man, this is what y'all get. This is what happens when y'all give average people, you know, superstar aspirations, bro. This is the problem. I tried to tell y'all this before. Everybody said, "Nah, man," but Jimmy Butler is. Told y'all he wants somebody to trick on him. He's looking for that love he's been looking for since he was a kid, bro. And he think because he worked hard and people have acknowledged that he worked hard, that makes him a superstar. So he has issues with the people who get the money and got the power he wants.
Mm.
Unfortunately for Jimmy Butler, unless
But
you
you,
go to a terrible organization with a team that needs an identity, you're not going to get it, bro.
He need to come to the Hawks. He'll be the guy in Atlanta.
No, you can't go to the Hawks because that's
No,
trade game.
no.
That's trade team. That's
but hold
John
on.
team.
Hey, Courtney, you have a saying about sprinkles.
No,
Yo,
that's
chill,
y'all.
chill.
Y'all with that.
No,
Y'all love
no.
y'all love giving
Can you tell it?
participation awards. No, y'all
Can
like
you tell the
participation
world
awards.
what sprinkles are for?
No, not for him. He wasn't included though. Listen, y'all have a thing for giving participation awards. Y'all do this to a lot of people. Y'all think because they work hard and they play both sides of the plate and they consistent that, oh, that dude is this. Y'all ever thought he's overcompensating for the superstar status he lacks? He lacks the superstar ability. That is just that simple. Now his
This
complaint to Brent Brown, and listen, y'all, his complaint is we don't run enough pick and roll and we don't shoot and there's not enough isolation plays. Since all Ben Simmons do is run pick and fucking roll. And he
Hmm.
damn sure can't shoot. So why would he be isolating? So you the only person on the team that isolates. I don't know what he want. He already got Joel Embiid taking more threes than
He,
fucking
he,
2 pointers at the rim.
he wants some sprinkles, man.
Man,
You know what he want.
He
Hey,
want
but
130 million. That's what he want.
and like I told y'all yesterday before you talked D, I would trade Jimmy Butler right now to the Lakers for Brandon Ingram and KCP.
I bet you would, because you looking for help for Ben ass. Nope.
No, Ben gonna do his job.
I, all right,
well,
man.
speaking of doing his job, nobody does their job like D Stanfield. So I need you to come in, Mr. Professional, and chime in on this. You a hard worker. Are you going to bang for hard work? Or are you going to agree with the rest of the panel? Is it Jimmy?
I think it's Jimmy, but I'm gonna give y'all some. I'm gonna give y'all a different take on this. Jimmy, for his career, since he's become a cornerstone of any team, and that's in Chicago, as well as his year and a half in Minnesota, averaged roughly around 36 to 38 minutes a game. All right.
Hmm.
Throughout that time, especially since the time that Derrick Rose went down, he's averaged about 15 to 16 shots a game. He's averaged around 20 to 23 points a game. Right now, Jimmy Butler is only averaging 32 minutes a game. He's only averaging 13 to 14 shots a game. And he's averaging 18 points a game, which is 3 points below his average. So you take a look at those statistics, and then you look at the argument that he's having with Brent Brown, and what it ultimately is saying is, I'm not getting the touches that I want. I'm not getting the shots that I want, despite the fact that when I get the shots, it's in clutch moments, and in those clutch moments, I'm hitting the shots and we win, and that's not good enough. I'm trying to get my points up. I'm trying to stat pad, i.e., Russell Westbrook, James Harden,
No,
so I
see,
can make
don't
a
say
case.
those
Okay,
names.
all right, I see where you're
See,
going, Courtney. I'll
see,
retract that statement,
you ain't them niggas.
but that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying.
You ain't as good as them.
But that's what I'm saying. He's trying to make a case. He's trying to basically be the Kirk Cousins of the NBA. He's trying to stat pad so that he can make a case to say, I do this, that, and the third. So you need to pay me this, that, and the third. His rebounds. He's averaged anywhere between 5.5 rebounds and 6 rebounds a game throughout the times that he's been an all star, and yet his rebounds are down 2 points. Are down to 4.7 rebounds a game, where he's usually right around 5.5.
You know why? Because Joel Embiid ain't Carl Anthony Towns who go, you know what? Get your stats, my nigga. Joel Embiid gonna rebound because that's what I do. Because I'm
Hold up,
7'1".
hold up,
You
Courtney. But
6'5",
but let's do
bad
this.
hairdo, need love, ass dude.
His steals are down. His blocks are down. Everything with Jimmy Butler, statistically, with the exception of free throw percentage, is down. And what does that tell you? That tells you that he's playing on a team that doesn't necessarily need him or necessarily need his skill set. So that
Hey,
hard
look.
work bullshit that he normally takes to the media, it doesn't fly here.
Hey,
Everybody in
let me
Philly
say
works
one
on.
thing. The Sixers are in the
That ain't true.
same. The Sixers are in the same spot they was before Jimmy Butler got there.
That is
They in the
correct.
fourth. They in the fourth spot. They was in the fourth spot before he got there.
That's right. And
So I mean,
you know who else is in the same spot that they were? The same spot that James Harden was when Dwight Howard was there. He's in the same spot that he is now. No NBA Finals. But I ain't even gonna touch on that.
But you know what? Let me touch on this real quick, though. I want to talk about a team that's not in the same spot because this time last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers were in the playoffs. And starting off the year, we had a situation with Le'Veon Bell. And then by the end of the year, we had a situation where Antonio, when AB was unhappy as well. And now this team is outside of the playoffs. They had a collapse near the end of the season. D, I'm going to stay with you on this one. What's going on with this AB situation?
I think the media finally got it right this time. I think that Mike Tomlin is too heavily in line with Ben Roethlisberger to hold him accountable, and that has shown throughout the course of this year. I think that, and Ice can tell you about private conversations that we have had, as well as me and Bo, that Big Ben has not only lost a step, but he has been on a steep decline. Even though he had a 5 to 6 game push this year where they were the top ranked offense in the league, but nobody's saying why they were the top ranked offense in the league. They were the top ranked offense in the league because Antonio Brown was on a tear and Juju was able to get open like never before. So and that was just and that all went downhill as you could see the minute James Conner went down. So Big Ben is slowly becoming trash buckets
Mm.
and and
Slowly.
slowly becoming. I'm saying slowly because he still has the talent around him to shade it.
Hey, Irv, let me get in this.
But but Big Ben is
Let him
slowly
finish.
becoming
Let him
trash
finish.
buckets, and as he continues to decline, and those attributes that he used to be able to shade begin to show more and more clearly, uh, the players in the locker room are saying, "Well, Big Ben needs to do a better job," and Mike Tomlin's backing up Big Ben because Mike Tomlin values his job because he knows that ownership is going to stick by Big Ben because of what he's done for the organization, and in turn, those players are losing respect for that head coach. It's plain and simple.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, world. Listen, Courtney wants to jump in on this one, and I'm gonna let him give it to y'all. Courtney, get a world your take.
So early in the year, I was hearing a whole lot of shade about Eli Manning. And my
Correct.
thing to everybody about Eli Manning was he no different than Ben Roethlisberger.
Facts.
Oh, Big
Oh,
Ben way better than Eli Manning.
wait,
Big Ben.
don't go there, bro.
Hold on.
Hold on. Let him finish. Let him
Hold
finish.
on.
Let him finish.
Hold on. Big Ben way better than Eli Manning. Big Ben way better. And my whole argument was Big Ben and Eli Manning are the same dudes.
No,
Y'all just like one better. And I see Ice over there and he goes, no. And I'll go like this. Last year, it was Odell Beckham who had a problem with his quarterback and into the year, and everybody said, because he's washed, he's this, he's that. This year, Antonio Brown has a problem. Now it's a slow decline. Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and some solid defensive players have always been around Ben Roethlisberger. He's been the most pampered nigga in that draft class. He's had the most help. He's had the most. He's had the better teammates.
The most stability.
He's had the more Hall
Yep.
of Famers. He's been given the more leeway.
He's he's
He's been given the bigger leash.
he's the most physically gifted.
He's the excuse me.
He is the most physically gifted out of the
He's the most
quarterbacks in that
physically
draft class.
he is the
Yes.
most physically gifted out of that draft cast. Yet him and Eli Manning split yards by about 400 yards. They split touchdowns by no by in between 10. And the
You
only
you wanna
difference
you wanna know
between
why?
hold on. And they split them within picks. So we go now to this current Ben Roethlisberger that y'all tell me is still so good that was 7-2 and is now out of the playoffs. We're going to the same Ben Roethlisberger that Le'Veon Bell didn't return calls and doesn't want to speak to. Don't mess with. We're going down to Pittsburgh. We're going down to AB who don't want to deal with you throwing footballs at you. Let's back it up. Let's go to Plexico Boris when he didn't like yo ass and he left. And he said on his own accord, if you give me Ben or you give me Eli, give me Eli. We can go down the history of Ben Roethlisberger's career of multiple people not liking dude. Y'all made excuses because y'all like how he looks better. Not because of how he plays better, because he got 2 rings that he got early. You ain't seen Ben Roethlisberger in a Super Bowl since 2010, fellas. It is 2019. When we gonna let it go? Or we just gonna keep making
Well,
excuses about him losing to Tom Brady his whole fucking career, but
I,
everybody else
I, I,
finding a way to get it done.
I'll say this. I said he's the most physically gifted quarterback in that draft class, but He's also the biggest underachiever because with all of his physical gifts, I believe he could have did more. Now,
Regular.
full disclosure, I'm a Raven fan.
He had a top
So
five defense. He
I've
had a
never,
top
I've
five
never, I've
defense
never,
for 7 straight years.
yeah, I've never had love for Ben, but Ben
Name a Hall of
has
Fame. How
has
about
un,
this? I
has
got one better for y'all.
underachieved.
I
He's
got one
he's
better for y'all.
underachieved in his
And
career.
this is for everybody on the panel. I got one better for y'all.
Hmm.
Name a 2 year span where Ben Roethlisberger didn't have a Hall of Fame wide receiver on his right side.
Whew, man,
Hey, Ice, you can take that question.
Ice got a whole nother spill, so y'all might want
I ain't
to.
worried about that. Pittsburgh just as regular.
I'm looking at Big Ben stats, man.
Go ahead. Make sure you pull Eli's on the side of him
No,
too.
I already got it. Don't worry about
Okay, cool. Because he passed
it.
Eli this year. So now look at the stats and you tell me. Because Eli regular. I know what your thought is on him.
He is
Mm-hmm.
thrown for 5,129 yards.
Oh, you talking about this season? He missed the playoffs. Don't give me the beautiful stats.
No, no, no. I'm just saying. Like, first of all, there was one game out of the playoffs, really a half game, because they had a tie.
Close
there was
on
a
the
there
counts
was
and
a Juju
horseshoes and
Schuster
grenades.
fumble out of the playoffs.
Exactly. Exactly. So it wasn't even close.
Oh, they wasn't a Cleveland Brown tie out too.
Evelyn, Eli didn't have a chance. He couldn't smell the playoffs. I don't even know why they kept a chance.
But Big Ben didn't have the injuries that Eli had either. You see, when Eli got all of his pieces, he
But hold
tore
up,
he tore it up.
how did we make this about Big Ben? We not focusing on AB. I mean, what's going on?
Because
AB
AB
Because
issue
AB
wasn't
wasn't being
because
AB.
everybody
disrespectful.
can everybody on the
AB.
panel here can agree that AB ain't the problem.
No, hold on. I don't agree. You want me to chime in?
I think AB's the problem.
He is. Go ahead. You go ahead, and I'll go after you. Go ahead.
You out here being a diva, dude. Like, you the man on the team.
Facts.
Diva.
Facts.
Let's not forget, you struggled the first 4 or 5 games of the season. Then you caught up and got on your shit. You got back to being AB, top 3, top 5 receivers.
How many game-winning touchdowns AB got this year?
What that got to do with how he started off slow?
No. You say ain't the problem. He being a diva. How many mother game-winning touchdowns I got this year? Because your bum ass ain't do nothing the whole game, and I save you with seconds on the clock.
But
Who threw
So
on the
you
ball?
gonna- so
Who threw on the ball?
yeah, who's throwing on the ball? You can't get the ball.
Well, hold on. Who's throwing? Oh,
You can't
okay.
get the
So
ball
when
without
all right, I got you. Who's throwing him the ball? Who threw him the ball last? He wasn't on that field last week. Why you didn't get the win?
They won last week.
So how did they miss the playoffs?
They won it because the game Juju fumbled in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's how Baltimore took the lead on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they
So-
lost.
so
They lost to
none of these
Oakland
other
also.
games matter.
They
So
lost to
only
They
that
Oakland
lost
game
to
also.
Oakland. They
determined
tied
won
with
the playoffs.
Cleveland. What happened with all that?
Can I chime in?
Yeah,
Sure.
go ahead, get some.
Let me rock, man. At the end of the day, like my man said, Antonio Brown is a diva, man. He's a drama queen. The real issue is Juju had more receptions and more yards than him, and he don't like that.
Yeah.
He don't care about winning. He care about stats, man. He always been like that. He's selfish. He's selfish. He get more targets out of any receiver in the last 8 years. Facts. Facts. This man get at least 15 targets a game. A game, man. Do the math. Do the math on that.
It's
Come on,
amazing
man.
that I look
Hey,
at.
Hold on, let me finish.
question.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead, Bo. Go ahead, Bo.
Can I finish?
Go ahead, Bo.
He's a drama queen, man. My thing is, now Pittsburgh, the only issue I had with that is, yeah, Ben Roethlisberger's been peppered. We know that. He got accused. I mean, he got accused of 2 rape charges and never got convicted. Like, so
Oh
we
no,
know
we talking divas.
we know he's been.
divas.
Can I finish, please, man? Come on, man. I let you rock. Can I finish? But we know he's been peppered certain ways. But Antonio Brown's a drama queen. Now Pittsburgh, the only problem is if you trade Antonio Brown, who do you get for him? Who you gonna get? Julio?
You can't trade him.
Exactly. You can't lose Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell in the same offseason. You can't do that. You cannot do that.
Before
But
Earth say
you got
something.
Juju is good, but I'm saying if you trade Antonio Brown, who do you get for him? Julio?
You don't need nobody. You got Juju.
Come on, Juju is good, but you still need 2 receivers.
You got Juju in the best quarterback in the league according to some people, right?
Hold on.
I don't think he's the best quarterback. I think he's top 10, but he's not the best quarterback. No, he's
Has
not.
AB been a star without Juju on the other side?
You said what?
Was AB ever a fucking star without Juju on the other side?
Hell yeah.
So if Juju is what y'all make him out to be, then put him on AB side, get rid of AB and let him be a star then, y'all.
You can't get rid of AB because
why?
You're 21 million.
Who do you get for AB, Courtney? Who do you let AB go for?
You're taking a $21 million cap hit.
Miami can eat the cap, Ice.
No, he's not.
No, Pittsburgh got to eat the cap. Pittsburgh got to eat the cap. Courtney,
you don't need nobody. Y'all got y'all number 1 receiver.
He's not.
You just don't let AB go for nothing, Courtney. Like, come on, stop with the game.
Hey. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Bo. Hey,
Let him
but let
go.
me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
I like what you said, but let me ask you a question. Would you trade AB for Jarvis Landry?
I would. I would. I
And
would. But you have to give me a
also,
pick. Hey, you got to give me a pick with that too, though. I need a
uh,
pick
Okay.
with that too.
And
also you got
keep in mind to your point, Big Ben did lead the league in interceptions this year, but he's not the problem. Okay.
well, one thing you guys are also missing is that
Nah, that
the,
was
He
the, the
AB.
led the
Steelers.
league in
Hold on,
interceptions
hold
four
on.
times.
Hold on, the Steelers drafted the Blitnikoff winner and James Washington last year, so they do have receivers in the pipeline. So don't think that. And Pittsburgh has done extremely well in developing their wide receivers.
And that's fact. Every receiver.
AB was a fifth round pick.
Boy, I
So
tell you, AB slipped to a fifth round pick. He wasn't supposed to be. He had
But
quote
but
unquote issues in college.
but like
But
Hawk said, every receiver they drafted them receivers and built them to they are.
I give
okay,
y'all all
Matavius
this
okay.
Bryant,
credit. All I
Antonio Brown,
I tell you
Hines
what,
Ward.
Irv, you bring new precedents to know your enemy because you know more stuff about the Steelers than you supposed to be. You a Ravens fan, man. Keep that stuff.
It's
no,
the
but
Pitt, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers.
you need to know who
listen.
your rivals
I
and your
respect
enemies are.
everything y'all saying, but the most baffling. I'm not even going to debate it. The most baffling thing I heard between Ice and Bo is that they agreed that AB is a diva, but they are forgetting that this Ben Roethlisberger nigga has switched two coaches, three OCs. Through multiple dudes have been removed from the Steelers because of Ben Roethlisberger's feelings. Multiple seasons they've had complaints about Ben Roethlisberger throwing shit just for the stats, not the right throw, but the big throw that led to stats and records. But he ain't no diva, just Antonio Brown.
I said
That
Ben
shit is
Roethlisberger been
beautiful.
pampered too. I
No,
did
no,
say
no.
Ben Roethlisberger been pampered too.
Pampered and diva is two different words, bro.
But he won without none of them folks. That's what I'm telling you.
Hines
He
Ward was on the motherfucking team. Don't you dare be disrespectful,
I'm
homeboy.
not being disrespectful to Hines Ward. He's from my high school. He's from my city where I'm from. So
So
I
he
would
was.
never be disrespectful to
Is he
Hines
a
Ward.
Hall of Famer?
Hell yeah, he's a
So
Hall of
watch your
Fame.
motherfucking tone
He's
when you
from
talk about
Forest
he
Park,
won
Georgia.
without him.
Hey, but
He's from
check this out. Check this out. Big Ben, nice, right? Big Ben has the most attempted throws throughout the season for 675.
because
Wait,
Le'Veon was gone.
hold on, hold. Oh, wait, but y'all made big stuff about how good James Conner was, right?
I never said Jay Conner was the shit. I never said he was
Top,
the
he was
shit.
a top
Hold up,
five running back
hold
guard
up.
up until he got
So
hurt.
Big Ben got the most attempted throws with 675, and he only amounted 5,129 yards with that. Meanwhile, the second person with the second runner up with the most yards in the NFL in the regular season was Patrick Mahomes. He only threw the ball 580 times. That's almost 100 less pass
Yo,
attempts than
man,
Big Ben.
you better get Patrick Mahomes up out of here, nigga. All them weapons he got. You fucking
He throw
Hold
it.
on,
He throw it. He throw it
hold
rocket
on.
launchers. He
They don't
throw
have the same
rocket
amount of
launchers.
weapons.
3,000
I
nigga.
just want to
That's
see if
all
Ice gonna be real. I just want to see if Ice gonna be
They
real
don't have the
because
same
Ice
amount
said
of
he got the
weapons.
stats.
Oh, they got even weapons. They got even
Thank
weapons.
you, thank you. They got the same amount of weapons.
They got even weapons.
Listen,
The catalyst here is Patrick Mahomes don't make as many mistakes as Big Ben, although Patrick
I want
Mahomes
to
makes
ask
big
Ice
mistakes,
something.
makes big mistakes in big games.
I want to ask Ice something since he got the computer there. Ice, if you look at Eli's stats, right? I just got a question for you. This is his fourth
How did
best.
Eli
Hold
get
on, hold
into
on,
this
Irv,
show?
Irv. Oh, hold on,
Exactly.
Irv. Y'all not here. Let me. I'm gonna get around to my point on Ben. Relax. Let me finish my point. If you look up this season's stats, which would go down according to statistics, would be his fourth best season in his career. If Ben Roethlisberger had that stat, would you fucking tell me his season was horrible?
Eli's?
Go look at these stats. Read off the stats
No,
for the
I'm
Bill,
looking
and you
at him.
tell me no.
Looking at him. This is a shitty fucking season. Fuck you.
Okay, read the stats. Listen, I'm not
For a
listening.
franchise quarterback, it's a shitty
I'm
season.
hearing y'all. Here you go. I hear all of the laughs and
You throw
jokes.
21
Read the
touchdowns
stat,
to the
Ice.
franchise quarterback?
Read the stats, Ice. Don't tell me it was trash. Read the numbers, Ice.
I'm looking at the numbers right now.
Read them.
Read them out. Yeah, read them out. Ice.
Oh.
452 completions out of 675 attempts.
Go ahead.
67% completion percentage.
Okay.
5,129 yards passing, averaging
Okay.
7.6 yards a catch.
Okay.
His longest pass of the season was 97 yards. He threw for 34
No, hold
touchdowns.
on, Bo. Let him finish. I'm
He
trying to
threw for
get to.
34 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, been sacked 24 times.
No, he didn't get 16 this year. It's not 16 interceptions this season.
He didn't throw for no 34 touchdowns this year either.
Who? Big Ben? That's Big Ben numbers.
We talking
Them
about
Big Ben
Eli.
numbers.
Oh,
You
you
talking
talking
about
about
Eli?
Eli?
Yeah,
Okay,
we talking
Eli.
about Eli.
Okay, Eli. 380 completions out of 576 attempts. 66% passer completion. 4,299 yards passing, averaging 7.5 yards per catch. His longest pass was 58 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 47 sacks.
Trash.
Where's the offensive line?
How you scream
92.4%
trash because
passer
he
rating.
got sacked
Trash.
47 times, but you just gave Ben Roethlisberger a motherfucking pass for throwing 650 to get 5,000, so he got 700 more yards than a dude who threw 200 less passes than him. He got 5 more interceptions and 12 and 10 more touchdowns. And you talking about trash?
You know
But I
what?
give you Big Ben stats 3 years
Real
ago,
quick,
same
And
shit.
and, and Eli arguably has the worst offensive line in football.
Hey
I have
man,
a, I have
Carson
a, que-
Wentz.
I have a,
Carson
que-
Wentz
I have
had
a
better
question.
numbers than that
Hold
in
on,
5 less games, man.
hold on. We not
Carson
going.
Wentz team
We
wasn't
not
even in the
gonna.
fucking playoffs. You watch your mouth, young boy. You got a
Yeah.
backup that got you
Hold
there.
on,
Shut
real
Hey,
up.
he
quick,
beat
Be
he
Courtney.
beat y'all
humble, nigga.
twice.
Hold on,
Be
He beat
Courtney.
y'all
humble,
twice.
nigga.
Hold on, Courtney.
All right, Irv.
Beating us twice don't
All
mean
right,
shit,
listen.
nigga. We bad.
None
Dumbass.
of, none of these none of these guys we're talking about is in the playoffs. And honestly, I'd like to talk about some playoff football right now.
Let's
We
get it.
got some serious matchups coming to today. We got the Colts and the Texans. We got a rejuvenated Andrew Luck. And then we
Rejuvenated.
got
Y'all love that white boy.
and we got one of the most consistent and dangerous quarterbacks in the league in Deshaun Watson. Ice, who you got?
Ooh, wait. Hey,
Ice
this,
better be smart.
this is gonna be a tough one right here, man. Man, because I mean, I'm all for
You
comeback.
torn. You don't know. I'm just like you. I don't know.
Like, yeah, like I, I'm gonna go for the black quarterback. I'm going for Deshaun.
And you know
I
what,
like
Ice, you
Hold
bring
on,
that
hold on,
point
hold on,
up.
hold on, hold on,
I
hold on.
want to
I got
ask
a
a
quick
question
question,
real
Earl.
quick.
Hold on.
fucking lot, man.
I said I love a good comeback. Deshaun not on the comeback neither.
Yeah, but I
Yo,
mean,
y'all the worst, my nigga. Y'all love these white boys. Y'all love them, yo.
You love
Yo,
Eli. You love
listen,
Eli.
yo. I
Luck,
hate the fact that y'all love these dudes so much that y'all willing to give excuses
luck,
for why
luck,
y'all don't
luck
want to go
ain't been
against
off a
them.
super level since
Deshaun Watson
career
got hurt
ended,
for
man.
real last year.
If you can't throw the ball, like that's what you do.
He had the
Luck
Markel
injury
Fultz.
in
He had the
today's
Markel
day,
Fultz.
maybe 20 years ago, when the motherfucker tore their ACL, they was done. Niggas is coming back better than ever off ACL.
Man, Hunter Henry tore his ACL in training camp. He playing this week. Come
Exactly.
on, man. He
Exactly.
playing this week.
It's totally different, man.
But hold on, I wanted to ask a quick question
Yo,
before we get
y'all
into
the
the
one.
hold on
Yo,
before we
y'all the
hold
most.
on,
Yo,
Hold on, guys.
Courtney, real quick before we get into the meat and potatoes of the games and everything. I just brought up something, and I just want to ask a question. He talked about the black quarterback, and
no, we not
hold
gonna
on.
get into that shit right now.
No, I'm gonna ask you. It's five black quarterbacks in the playoffs in
Yes.
2019. Does it matter, or is this just business as usual?
If we make a big deal out of it, Irv, I'm gonna jump into this. If we make a big deal out of it, then it won't show up as regular. This should be regular, so let's just skip over that. Let's just skip over that piece. It shouldn't even be discussed. We
Okay,
got,
I just wanted to know,
it
like,
shouldn't
is
even
this
be
business
discussed.
as
I'm,
You
I'm
usual?
with
having
that.
the problem is you having a discussion too early, Irv. We have a discussion now. They're gonna make it about that.
Yep.
Let it play out and have
Yeah.
the discussion after the fact, so
Yep.
they can't judge it on anything but the play.
I got you, because it's people asking questions. It's
Who
people
gives a
bringing
damn
it
what
up.
they ask? As long as it ain't media blasted, let it fly till after the results show.
Yep.
Because we got a
Oh,
chance right now to have two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl.
Don't
Yeah.
have them make that shit not happen. Let it go.
Yeah.
okay. So Courtney, talk to me. Texans or the Colts?
I'm going Texans. Why? Because y'all love that Andrew Luck nigga. Y'all so screaming about a shoulder injury, which I find amazing that the same dude on this panel with the hat on his head right now will tell you Carson Wentz was an MVP, but he just got hurt. He was having a hell of a season like Deshaun Watson wasn't neck and neck with that same nigga before he got hurt. But it's cool. I get it. Y'all love Andrew. I don't think Andrew like that. I never thought Andrew was like that. And I still don't think Andrew like that. I think he's a good quarterback. I think the boy can throw, but y'all give him way too much love. Y'all be going crazy for this Andrew Luck nigga. When he
Well,
was
what
losing
about what?
early in the season, y'all didn't want to bring it up. It was about the injury. When he started balling, now it's just the resurgence of Andrew Luck.
Well, talk to me about the effect that
Show me him get
Jadavion
it
and
done in the
J.J. Watt
playoffs.
can have on this game.
Hold on, Irv. Hold up. Let him
Oh,
finish with his
Show
take.
me,
'Cause
okay.
let
show
me let me
me,
take
show
that
me
because I
Andrew
got that.
Luck.
He
Show
tripped.
me let Andrew Luck do it in offense. I'm going with Deshaun because I think Deshaun is the better quarterback overall. I think Deshaun is the better quarterback overall. I'm rolling with Deshaun in this one.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to D Stanfield because I know he felt like Courtney took a slick shot at him, but I really want y'all to talk about. I mean, I understand the quarterbacks are important, but it's some pretty diesel guys on defense also.
And
So
Hey, man.
D, go
Hey,
ahead, get yours.
so let me start off by saying I'm going Texans, and I'm going Texans because Deshaun owed him some payback because Andrew Luck whooped that ass 4 weeks ago, and I mean
Facts. Facts.
and I mean whooped that ass decisively with
yeah,
no problems, and that's with this so-called no defense on the Indianapolis Coast side. Deshaun did nothing, so I'm going with the Texans because I know how difficult it is to beat the same team in your division twice, especially going into the playoffs when both of y'all are on a winning streak. So, it but here's my overall summation. When you think about the playoffs, you think about the team that has the better defense and the team that can control the clock the best.
Hmm.
Despite the fact that Andrew Luck is a good is a very good quarterback, I'm not like Courtney. I give Andrew Luck his credit. Andrew Luck, in terms of his ability to read defenses, his ability to throw the ball, his ability to his overall physical stature, and his footwork, his ability to elude the sack with no awesome offensive line. I think the guy is a superb quarterback. However, the Texans defense is not to be messed with at all. So if you combine that with the fact that the Texans offense does have the ability to run the ball and Deshaun is on the level, at least approaching to the level, if not better than Andrew Luck at this stage in this season, I'm going with the Texans all day.
Hey, is DeMar Miller playing?
I think Lamar Miller is playing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Bo, actually, you were next. Talk to me. Who you got?
Um, to be honest, I'm really torn about this. 'Cause I really don't know. I actually think it's gonna come down to coaching. Bill O'Brien, Frank Wright.
Frank Reich
Frank
is the
Wright.
better coach, by the way,
Yeah, he was on my Eagles. He was my quarterback coach last year. I'm gonna just
and
take. I'm gonna put. I'm gonna give you a
that's a
take.
Buffalo Bills product, by the way,
Yeah,
just so you
I'm gonna
know.
give you a take. Besides Tom Brady and Phillip Rivers, Andrew Luck got the most experience out of all the quarterbacks in the AFC right now that's in the playoffs.
Okay.
Last time, if I'm not mistaken, last time the Colts was in the playoffs, they went to the AFC Championship game and they lost to the Patriots. If I'm not mistaken, so this Deshaun Watson first playoff game. We don't know what he. Obviously, the Texans got a better defense because they got three elite defenders on their defense. They got Matthew Clowney and they got J.J. Watt. Only thing the
Hmm.
Colts got is D boy Darius Leonard. I mean,
Hmm.
My man.
Yo, I
Shout out to
cannot
I
South Carolina
mean,
believe
State.
y'all.
I mean,
I cannot believe y'all.
I'm a, I'm going with the Colts. I got the Colts in upset only
Okay,
because
well,
Andrew Luck got more experience. That's it.
well, I'm gonna give my take, and I'm gonna use my take as a segue. Um, I do agree. These are two both young, good quarterbacks. But what I said to Deshaun Watson, he is everything that I wish Lamar could eventually be and surpass.
Here we go with this Lamar Jackson
He
bullshit.
he run. He's fast. He runs the ball. He doesn't take hits.
Oh, he take
And
hits. He take hits.
He take hits, but not when he running. That's
yeah,
what
not
Irv was
when not
Yeah,
saying.
when he's
When he
running.
running,
Not
when
when
he
he's
running,
running.
he knows how to avoid the hit
yeah,
bullshit.
yeah. He's the
But
most sacked
when
quarterback.
his offensive line collapses like it often does, he takes hits.
He was the most sacked quarterback this year.
And he can throw the football. So, but my thing is, I think J.J. Watt and Jadavion is going to be the difference. And because of those two, I'm gonna go with the Texans. And then next game, we got to talk about
Hold on, hold
my
on,
ball.
hold
Oh, you
on,
want to
Irv.
get some before we start?
Hold on,
Okay, go
Irv.
ahead, get
Hold
some.
on, Irv, because I gotta look at the panel for Mr. Facts and Mr. Oh, they whooped that ass. September 30th, week 4, Texans versus Colts, 37-34. Week 14, December 9th, Colts versus Texans. Colts 24, Texans 21. What ass whooping are y'all fucking referring to?
When did they score those touchdowns, Courtney? And that'll tell you when the ass whooping
Boy,
occurred.
if you don't
Yeah,
meet me
you
with
look at
that
you look at
shit,
the end of that fucking game. Don't tell the whole story.
sir,
Tell the whole story. They whooped
sir,
that ass.
sir, what was the score?
Oh my God.
What was
Hey,
the score,
move
Phresh?
on to
Talking
the
about
next
two
game, man.
touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and you talk, man, come on, man.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
struggling. They had struggling. They couldn't score that most of that
They
game.
could
They
not
really
I
score the
couldn't.
mean,
whole
see,
damn
see, see,
game.
see, 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 see. We not see. Here we go again. Y'all manipulating what the fuck
This is
I'm
my
telling you.
problem with
Not yo.
Courtney. Even when you
Excuse
give,
me. An
even when you
ass
give credit
whooping,
where it's
sir,
due,
sir.
he still got to bring
Please
up the
stand firm,
the
sir.
most minor
Be
details. The most
excuse me,
minor details.
sir.
It
Erg,
was
Sir,
go to
you're
the next
saying
game, Erg.
minor details,
7-1.
sir. Sir,
Erg, go
you're
to the
saying
next game,
minor.
Erg.
Go ahead, y'all can keep going. Y'all saying minor details. Oh, he couldn't score. He couldn't do this. An ass whooping. At least 3 touchdowns, bro. At least, bro. At
No,
least
when you
two,
dominate an
probably more.
entire game, it doesn't matter
Don't matter. Oh,
bruh. When you put your scrubs in and people get and people
So the
down by
scrubs
30 and you
played.
put the scrubs in and the
So the
team come
scrubs
back and
played.
get it within 10, that's still an ass whooping.
So the scrubs played.
In the fourth quarter, yes.
Okay,
Well,
that's a
I
fact.
tell
I'm
you,
gonna hold you accountable at the end of the segment on my last piece. I'm gonna
well
pull
we
up those
we
stats for you to show you full of shit.
well we're talking playoff football right now, and really no scrubs is in the game, and we got to go with my beloved Baltimore Ravens versus the L.A. Chargers. I did not say San Diego, against the L.A. Chargers. Very compelling game. We back to that draft class. That special draft class where you got 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks that went in the first round. We talked about Eli, we talked about Ben, now we're talking about Phillip. This might be one of Phillip's last couple of years to actually make a run. Now, just 3 weeks ago, my Baltimore Ravens handled Phillip Rivers handedly. Now, I know it's not going to be as easy this time around, but Ice, how do you see this game, man? Last time it was a defensive struggle. We didn't necessarily pull away until Antonio Gates fumbled in the end, and that widened it enough where we had a comfortable victory, but it was not comfortable until near the last part of the fourth quarter. How do you see this game going? Is it going to be a defensive struggle again, or do you feel like the offenses will open up?
against the Ravens is always going to be a defensive struggle. So, but I think the Chargers is going to get back this week. I think
Ice.
I think Phillip knows it's about to be the end of the road, and I think his teammates is going to they're gonna try to pull this out for him, man. Try to at least get him back to the ball. So I gotta go Chargers on this one. But the Ravens though, for the
Mm-hmm.
future, unreal, man. They gonna be unreal, man. They gonna keep a defense, and once you get some pieces around Lamar, it's a wrap.
Okay, now D, talk to me. Now we just played them 3 weeks ago, and a lot of people was talking about the whole novelty of the Raven offense. Where it's the first time you see it, you have some difficulties with it. Do you think the fact that we just played them 3 weeks ago is going to give the San Diego an edge in playing against us versus a team who's never played us this season?
All right, so let me start off by saying I'm with Courtney on this one because I already know where he's going. Phillip Rivers. Uh, Courtney know how I feel about Phillip Rivers, but man, like he hasn't gotten it done over the years, despite all the talent that he's had around him. And I think Bo agrees with me on that one as well. The problem this year, the difference this year is that on the road, the Chargers have performed superb. So, with that being said, I feel like this is gonna determine Phillip Rivers' legacy. So, if they had any chance to win, it would be this game. However, I'm going with Baltimore because defense wins championships, and despite the Lamar's despite Lamar's lack of experience in the playoff, I think that the Harbaugh family will minimize his stress level in terms of putting the load on him, and they'll control the ball, they'll control the time of possession, they'll lay the defense on him, and they'll probably win that game, probably 17-6.
Mm. Okay, Courtney,
Cut them out.
huh? What you say, Courtney? Give me some, man. How do you see this game?
Yeah, I'm not even talking about Phillip Rivers bum ass. I'm going with Baltimore for the win.
I told you. I told you.
Yeah.
That nigga regular. Y'all love him. He better get it done, Mister. Oh, this is
All
good.
right, but Courtney, I want you to give me a little bit more. Let's talk to
I
me
don't
about
got
Lamar
nothing for
Jackson.
you with Phillip. His only job is to prove me wrong and go win the Super Bowl.
All
This
right, well,
is his best shot.
talk to me about Lamar Jackson, youngest quarterback to start a
Lamar,
playoff
just do
game.
what you do. Don't think about being young. Don't think about nothing. Think about the fact that you're gonna go down as the dude that officially ended Phillip Rivers' career. You ain't got to worry about him no more. That's what. Just do what you do, Lamar. You ain't got to do nothing special. Personally, I hope you go out there and go full Michael Vick. Fuck throwing the ball. Just run. Run till you blue in the face, Lamar. I don't care. As long as you win the game, that's all I need.
All right, Bo 2.0. Ah,
Um,
talk to me.
um, I mean, I hope Baltimore win. I like Lamar Jackson. Phillip Rivers ain't got no more excuses. If it ain't Tom
Hmm.
Brady, he
Fact.
shouldn't lose to nobody in this playoffs.
He
That's a
shouldn't lose to Tom Brady neither.
Uh, but you're right. To be right, you're right because at the end of the day, the Chargers got the best overall team in the AFC right now that's in the playoff. They are
mm-hmm.
complete on both
Okay.
sides of the. They are complete on both sides of the football. So, he's no more excuses. If he don't get it done this year, he'll never get there because it's the best team he had in a while.
But he'll
So
never get there.
he'll never get there if he don't get there this year. And
And this is the
that's
first
all I
year
got
that
to say.
this is the first year he going into the playoffs with a healthy Melvin Gordon. There is no excuse.
I mean, he never been to the playoffs with Melvin Gordon before. They never been to the playoffs before, had they?
That's no, I don't think so. I think you're right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
So
was that was LaDainian Tomlinson that was always
so
hurt going to
yeah,
the
yeah, you're
playoffs.
right. And
it's no
They got Travis Benjamin, Keenan Allen, and
man,
Melvin Gordon.
it's no excuses this year,
No
man.
excuse.
No
They
excuses. He got
loaded.
to get it done. He got to get it done.
I don't think they
Okay.
get the chip, but they got a chance to get out this first round.
If they get out the first round and they get some
They
momentum, they could make the
he
chip.
he should make the Super Bowl this year.
He
Besides Tom,
should.
you shouldn't lose to
I don't,
nobody.
Look what they
If you go to Foxborough and lose to Tom Brady, it is what it is. It ain't too many people beat Tom Brady in Foxborough.
yeah.
But anybody else, I'm not saving your ass. You got no, I can't
and
save you.
if they go to Foxborough outside the weather, the way that they've been playing on the road, I wouldn't necessarily bet against them.
Exactly, because they got the most complete team in the AFC right now in the playoffs.
Except a
Okay.
regular ass quarterback.
He better
well,
than
let's talk about this NFC. Now we got the Seahawks and the
Mhm.
Cowboys playing each other. Cowboys got a top defense. Seahawks got a top running game. What's going to give? Is the Seahawks going to be able to run on Dallas? Bo, talk to me. This is your division right here.
Mm.
Um, I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks for only one reason: Russell Wilson. Besides
Okay.
Ezekiel Elliott, I think Russell Wilson the best player on the field. I mean, I trust him more than I trust Dak Prescott. I mean, I'm taking him for one reason and better coaching. Pete Carroll's a better coach than Jason Garrett.
Okay. Okay.
Dallas got a better defense, but I mean, I like Russell Wilson.
Okay. All right. So D, talk to me. How do you feel about that?
I personally I agree with Bo, which is really making me throw up a little bit in my mouth. Um, I think that I think that Russell Wilson and the Seattle have finally found their identity. They're running the ball efficiently. Russell Wilson is clearly a better quarterback than Dak Prescott, so that's not even a discussion. The defense is finally starting to play, uh, and so I would agree that Seattle should win this game. However, let me put an asterisk by this because if if Jason Garrett gets out of his ego and he gives Zeke the 25 touches that he needs to fulfill the blueprint, I think Dallas will pull out that game.
Okay. All right. So Ice, do you agree with D and Bo, or you gonna give us a fresh perspective?
I'm giving y'all a fresh perspective, bro.
Ooh, America's team, talk to me.
Man, as much as I hate to say it, because I've grown up a Bills and a Niners fan, so Dallas has never been one of my favorites. But the way they
Sucks
defense,
for you.
the way they oh yeah, I'm struggling right here. The way the defense picked up and that Amari Cooper trade, that might have been the biggest trade of the season, man. Like outside of the Khalil Mack, let me not forget Khalil Mack.
Yeah,
Outside
yeah,
of Khalil
yeah.
Mack, Amari, that was the biggest transaction in the league, and he got Dak looking pretty solid. You know, like we know what we're gonna get from Zeke, but he's bringing the passing game to another level, and
Yeah, he runs some routes.
I don't know what the hell Gruden is doing over there in fucking Oakland, but he's an idiot. Like it's no way I'm betting on my two best players, and Man, I like Dallas. Like, it's no more Legion of Boom. That Legion of Boom should just done. The secondary ain't what it was. I gotta go. I gotta go Dallas.
Okay, Courtney, this
Amari
is
Amari Cooper did help to bring about the resurgence of Michael Gallup, who they were really high on to begin with. So
well
yeah,
that kind of brings to the point where Courtney was trying to speak on earlier when he was talking about Juju. It's like Juju is able to do his thing because you have to focus so much on AD,
Yeah,
and so once Dallas got a true number one receiver like Amari Cooper,
yeah.
Well,
then now Michael
well
Gallup can
let's
do
be
his
clear.
thing because he's
Well,
a
let's be
number
clear,
two.
Irv. Let's be clear, Irv. We weren't we were in the studio when we said that we weren't sure how much that would help Dak, and Courtney was the one that blatantly said that the Amari Cooper pickup would be huge for Dallas. So kudos to you, Courtney.
Okay, and speaking of Courtney, it's your turn, brother. Talk to me. Cowboys are in your division, so I'm sure you've watched them twice or at least twice this year. How do you feel about the Cowboys versus the Seahawks?
Um, I'm a Giants fan, so I don't go anything Cowboys. Cowboys should win the game, but I'm not going against them. I'm more of a Pete Carroll and a Russell Wilson fan, so I'm going with Seattle. Dallas should win the game. All jokes aside, though, they really should. They got the running back. They got a number one. They got some other options out there. They got the better offensive line. Their defensive line is better, and they linebacker core is collectively better. It's not a
Right.
specific player that's better than any other player on Seattle's linebacker core, but as a collective, they're better. I think
Van Der
Seattle
Esch is a
back
monster, though. Van Der Esch is a
Seattle,
monster.
Seattle back line isn't as good as it used to be. Um, if Russ play ball control, this game won't be too hard for them. If he go out there trying to gunsling it, it could backfire with the way they defense been playing this year, and they defense gonna get around Russ, so he gonna have to use a lot of his legs. It's gonna have to look like old Russ than it did than the newer version until he at least soften him up to stop that pass rush. But I refuse to go Dallas because I'm a Giants fan. So fuck that. I'm going Seattle.
and speaking of your boy John Gruden and some of the trades that he's made this year, I think he's trying to build a brand new identity for the Raiders as they move to Vegas. So he wanted to focus on this draft and get as many top assets as he can, kind of a la Cleveland, where they were able to remake themselves with, you know, like 5 top 10 picks in the past 2 years. But one of the people that he also traded, Khalil Mack, sent him to the Bears, and with the Bears taking Roquan Smith and having this phenomenal defense, they are making waves. Now it's the Bears versus your Eagles. So I'm gonna let you start off first. Talk to me about this game.
um, it's
Here we
gonna be
go.
a tough. It's
Fly,
gonna
Eagle
be.
fly bullshit.
You see the hat. You know who I'm rocking with. That's my team. It's gonna be a tough one, man. Chicago got the best defense in the NFL to me.
Uh-huh.
That defense can go where you can take that defense in the alleyway in the pitch black dark, and they're gonna come out on top. I mean, I'm taking my Eagles because I don't trust their quarterback. I don't trust Mr. Trubisky. I'm sorry, I just don't. If we can make him throw the ball to beat us, I think we got a chance. I don't think they're gonna be able to run the ball like that on us. We got to make him beat us. We got to make him beat us with his arm, not his legs either. His arm. So I like our chances.
Okay, so Ice, is Khalil Mack going to be in the backfield giving Mr. Foles that trouble? Or you think Foles is going to have that magic, man, and get past these Bears?
Man, these Bears is getting the Eagles the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, that defense, man. Vaughn, you said defense wins championships.
Yeah.
This is a defensive championship team right here, man. Like, one player just changed the whole dynamic of the damn team. Like,
Well, don't sleep on Roquan. Like Roquan was my favorite defensive player
oh,
in the
I
draft.
love Roquan,
And, Stanfield had said something earlier about me knowing what my Steelers have with the not my ugh, what the Steelers have done. But I'm a draft nut.
Yeah.
I studied the draft extensively, and James Washington was one of my favorite players in the draft, and they ended
Yeah.
up taking him. But Roquan was my favorite defensive player. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
So yeah, like man, like that. Just having Roquan and to get the tutelage from fucking Khalil, and Khalil still he ain't even reached his peak yet. Like man, like oh my god, like I'm
Hey,
sorry. I love the Eagles. Well, I mean, I don't love the Eagles. My man played for the Eagles, so I root for him. But man, they getting the Bears the fuck out of. I mean, they getting the Eagles the fuck up out of here, man. I'm sorry, man.
hey, can I say one thing? I know Khalil Mack is the best defensive player that's gonna be on the field Sunday, but the second best defensive player play for my team. The second best defensive player on the team out on the field play for my
You're
team.
wrong. You're wrong. And I know Fletcher Cox is a beast. Don't get me wrong. I
So
know you.
who better than him on your
And,
team?
so I'm gonna let Irv get to me, but go ahead.
Okay,
But
that's all
actually,
I got to say.
You was next because the Bears are your team.
Wait. I think you should go to Courtney next because Courtney about to blast me about how I blasted Mitchell Trubisky in the beginning of the year. So let Courtney go in before I go there.
All right, sounds good. Mr. Young and talented. We're gonna save Chappelle. We're gonna save D last because this is his team. Go ahead and get some on this. Eagles, Bears. Who you got?
This is probably the best game of the day.
Yeah,
This is probably the best game all day that'll happen. Like the most, back and forth intense game all day. These are two teams both who can make Super Bowl runs. Um, but as I said earlier, I'm a Giants fan, so fuck anybody else in the division. So I'm going for Chicago. And even in the itching, because truly in my soul, I really, I really deep down believe Philly might pull this off because of Alshon, because this is his return where I had to depart, because they talked bad about me when I left. I think Alshon's gonna have a big day because he's just gonna take it personal that y'all think that I wasn't that good. But I can't because of the nigga on this panel with that hat on. I cannot root for the Philadelphia Eagles only because he refuses to be real about the circumstances they're currently in. So because nobody wants to be real about the current circumstances, all I needed was them to get in the playoffs. Outside of that, the niggas could die and burn in hell for all I care.
Hold on.
Now,
Okay,
as
hold on.
far as
What
the
do you want to be?
Chicago,
What you want me to be real about?
hold on. As far as the Chicago Bears go, I am having a marvelous time enjoying how well they did this year and how they're in the playoffs. It's especially when it was Mr. Mitch himself that made sure in a couple games we got this shit done. Since I sat in that man with them headphones right there, since I sat in his living room and told him, D, I only vouch for niggas that I seen something in. Outside of that, I'll give them benefit of the doubt, but I'm not going to argue with you over something that I don't see. And what I told him was, Mitch going to lead your ass back to a playoff you ain't seen since y'all wasn't shit. And he told me no, because I don't think he could do it. And he ain't this. And look at this nigga right here with his hands up, big old smiles, because the motherfucking Chicago Bears is in the playoffs, as I said they would be, because Mitchell Trubisky is legit. Now, I'm not
Okay.
saying he's going to be some over the top best quarterback in the league, but the boy not a pussy, and that matters when you at the quarterback position. I didn't say he's the most accurate, he's the best thrower, but he got a heart, and he not a pussy. Now, if they could get some wide receivers, they fuck around and could have a dynasty.
Okay. And you are listening to Fresh Perspective, and we're gonna go to the professional, and he's gonna end this segment right here talking about his beloved Chicago Bears. I won't say who you got because I know who you got, but let's give us some insight on how you see this matchup.
All right, I'm glad you know who I got. So shout out to Court, man. And just to be clear, I did not say that Mitchell Trubisky would not perform this year. I said Mitchell Trubisky, I didn't trust him, and I had to see him week to week. And Courtney did say you need to trust this guy because here's the thing. Me and D Burts, we both believe that coaching matters. And when they got Matt Nagy, I knew that it was going to be it was going to be a good step in Mitchell Trubisky's transition. But I personally thought that he was going to be too much of a turnover machine because people got game tape on him, and he did turn the ball over this year, which we talked about earlier in the season. But he also carried us single handedly through a couple games, especially early in the season when Khalil Mack was dealing with the injury issues. Now, with that being said, uh, the reason why I'm picking the Bears is because of where they're playing and what the weather is looking like this weekend. The Eagles do not have a substantiated run game. We have three running backs. We have Cohen, we have Jordan Howard, and we have Mitchell Trubisky. That's three running backs. We got Tim Tebow that can throw the ball a little bit. On top of that, the second best defensive person on that field outside of Khalil Mack is not Fletcher Cox. The second best person on that field is Eddie Jackson. Roll Tide. Eddie Jackson is back full strength. And if you look at his comparison throughout all safeties throughout this league, and he plays free safety, could play the strong safety, but he plays the free safety. Why? Because he has a 45-yard wingspan range to go attack the ball, which is why you can't throw on our defense. Because normally Prince Amukamara, despite all the early hype, was a liability on defense. Kyle Fuller was solid, but Prince Amukamara was a liability on
Hey,
defense.
is
But
Eddie
you
Jackson
ain't, but
playing?
yeah,
Is he
Eddie
playing?
Jackson is playing. Oh,
Okay.
Eddie Jackson is playing, and not only is he playing, the press conference yesterday, he's 100%.
Okay.
So when you throw those things into account, supplied by the fact that we have the second best pass rush in the league behind Baltimore, which I'm gonna give you your credit, Herb, despite how I actually feel about y'all, because I feel like y'all a bunch of bitches. Um, we had the second best pass rush in the league, and that's followed by the Buffalo Bills at number three. Uh, if we don't allow Nick Foles to make those reads that Doug Peterson is going to set him up to make, because Doug Peterson does make good game plans. If Khalil Mack and Danny Trevathan and Roquan Smith are actually getting to Nick Foles, we can control that game without a problem when we can ride up into the sunset. However, I did say I didn't want to see the Eagles because they were on a tear. So I'm not going to say we definitely going to win that game, but that's who I'm going with.
Okay, and I'm gonna keep the same energy going as we continue to talk about championship football. I want to talk about Alabama versus Clemson
Mm,
again,
mm, mm,
again.
mm.
So, man, I tell you, it seems like these guys have become the standards in college football. I didn't see them ending up playing a third time, but I guess these guys are the standards and the teams to beat. So, Ice,
Yo,
talk to me. Bama versus Clemson. A, I want to know how you feel about the game. B, I want to know, is this good for college football to have the same teams making it? And is four enough for the playoffs, or do we need to expand it? If you can touch on those three for me.
okay. So first of all, I'll keep my decision last. So to answer your first couple of questions, um, A, it should be an 8-team playoff because my team got robbed once again.
Ohio State is a bunch of bums anyway. Shut up.
Hey, you see who we got, baby. You see who we got.
Y'all squeaked out of y'all bowl game.
So no, 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 they didn't. You didn't watch that game. That game was completely dominated. Like you said, when you put the bums in, niggas score. That shit was
Okay.
over. So
Okay.
it should be 8 teams. And my opinion, shit, UCF go undefeated. Let them niggas get washed up. Shit. You see what happened this bowl game? They got washed up. Let them niggas, since they think they good, put them in a playoff, get their ass blew up.
I,
Look
I
at
don't. I don't think it's fair to talk about UCF because they lost their 4-star quarterback to
hey,
that knee injury. So
they got washed up. Them niggas was still undefeated, bro. Don't matter.
all right,
Oh, you still got to get out there. You still got to go out there.
all
So,
right.
so you see UGA, Ohio State get snubbed. So
I mean, but did UGA really get snubbed? Because when it was grits and gravy
hell yeah,
time,
they
they
got
got washed also.
hell yeah, they got snubbed because they clearly was no, they didn't get washed. You talking
They
about against Alabama?
no. He talking about in the bowl game.
I'm
The
talking
bowl
about
game
that bowl game.
that they
Oh,
just got.
like okay, like that bowl game, that them niggas wasn't motivated to play that shit, man. Like you could tell, like you could just look at it and see, like yo, them niggas was like, you see fucking Notre Dame get their ass washed. You see, who else was in it? Washington?
Yeah, Washington. Yeah.
Washington washed. Like UGA is way better than both of them teams. And the fact that they don't gotta play a conference championship, that shit was fucking trash. Them niggas lost because they lost to the number one team in the country. Now you're kicked out of the playoff. That doesn't make any sense. UGA clearly is one of the top four teams in the country. Like they got robbed. Point blank period. That's why they need to expand the playoffs. And I'm gonna go with I'm going with Clemson. Fuck Alabama.
Okay,
I,
okay,
I got some ties. I got some boys I know on Clemson. I'm going with them, man.
okay. All right, Bo, talk to me. Who you got in this
Um,
game? Do you feel like four is enough for the playoffs, or do you think it needs to be expanded?
four is definitely not enough.
Hold on, I can't hear you, Bo. Talk up,
Um,
brother.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hear you
yeah, you
now.
good now.
Okay, four is definitely not enough. I've been saying for the longest they need to go to 18s. Did Georgia get robbed? I mean, Georgia had Georgia. I do think Georgia was one of the four best teams, but they had a chance to get it. All they had to do was beat Bama. They couldn't do it, so they don't deserve to be there because they didn't beat who they supposed to beat to get there.
But my thing is that's not fair.
How is
That's
that's not fair? They had
because
two
you
losses.
because you gotta play a whole nother you gotta play a whole nother game. You gotta play a conference championship. If they wipe out the championship game and Bama is the lone winner, cool.
Well, well, when Notre Dame the only team they don't have to play a conference championship game because they independent. But everybody else,
Washington ain't either.
Washington,
who?
The Pac-12 doesn't play a championship game.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
we
you got the
they wasn't in there, so why are we talking about them? I mean, they
They
wasn't
were
in
in the
there.
top. They were in the top 10 though. It was.
Yeah,
I
they was
mean,
in
it
the
was.
top 10. But
Yeah,
to get back to Alabama and
it
Clemson,
was Oklahoma, by the way. It wasn't. It
yeah
wasn't Washington. Oklahoma.
to
Oklahoma.
get back to Alabama and Clemson, I don't like neither team. I'm sick of Alabama. I'm a Florida State guy, so I don't like Clemson. But if I'm picking somebody, I'm gonna pick Clemson because I'm sick of Alabama. I think he's been the two best teams in college football the last 4 years.
Mhm.
And it's shit, round four, let's get it.
Okay, so everybody giving me the emotional take. Courtney, can you give me I need something a little more analytical. Give me your choice, but why? Other than the fact that you like or dislike a team, and should it be expanded, or are you okay with four teams? Okay. Well, we'll go to D Stanfield on that question. Courtney, we'll get back to you on that one. Break the game down a little bit. Who you think is going to win and why? And is four enough, or should we go to eight like everybody's saying?
Well, you know I'm a roll tide guy, so you know I'm going Alabama. However, I will do you the justice of breaking this down. Um, this I'm gonna go ahead and say that I'm gonna go ahead and put this on wax and say that if Alabama wins this game the way that I think that they will, I'm gonna put an asterisk next to it because of the players that are suspended off of Clemson's team. Uh,
Interesting.
I, I have the Bo Falaren, Draymond Green syndrome. I don't like getting wins when people are not at their full strength.
Mm-hmm.
And in this particular situation, I think it was Tua's opportunity to show that he was the best quarterback in the nation, not just what he did against Kyler Murray, because Kyler Murray didn't have a defense to support what he was doing. But Clemson has the defense, and they rolling with the sunshine. And I don't. I and despite everybody's high horses on how good Clemson's quarterback is, I'm not that guy. I think
Oh
that
man, you don't like Sunshine, man? Hey, that's a
listen.
quality quarterback right
I've
there.
said this. I've said this the entire season. He has the benefit of having the second best offensive line in football behind my team, my Roll Tide team. And on top of that, Clemson's wide receivers are nothing short of spectacular. They always have been. They always have produced good wide receivers. So I mean, you couple that with the fact that they have the best defense, the best front four in football, and they get the ball back quite frequently, and and you have to say to yourself that from the on the surface, Clemson looks like they have a spectacular quarterback. When in actuality, he just gets a bunch of chances against lackluster teams because the ACC doesn't have that many quality teams. On top of that, you look at his first game his second game as a starter when they played against Syracuse, and he squeaked out of that game. So, and to be perfectly honest with you, he didn't look decisive to me against Notre Dame. He didn't look spectacular against Notre Dame.
I thought he got knocked out the Syracuse game though. He didn't finish that game.
Why did he get knocked out? Holding
He got
holding the ball too long against a quality defense. It was the first quality defense that he saw all season. So
um. I
I,
think both of these quarterbacks will go number one in the draft when they come out. Two will go number one next year. Lawrence will go number one the year after that.
I think Trevor Lawrence will go number. I don't know if he'll go number one.
So they both will be the first quarterback drafted in their draft class.
Okay, I'll go with that. But I think that Trevor Lawrence is overrated, and I'm gonna say that I don't think that he's proven that he can make all the NFL throws. Especially,
Yeah.
I think he has the same physical intangibles as same physical attributes as Dak Prescott, and yeah, I think he has the same physical attributes as Dak Prescott in terms of throwing the ball. The one thing that I will say is that Dabo Sweeney is great at grooming quarterbacks. So I think that he'll be even better this year than next year than he was this
Well,
year.
well,
Got
D, I
two.
will say, I will say this. I think he made the smarter choice because him and Justin Fields was neck and neck. Fields probably shouldn't have never have
I,
chosen Georgia, and Sunshine chose
Definitely
Clemson, which
should have.
was the right choice. So you got to say something for his decision making right there. This may have stunted Fields'
well,
progression.
that was as much Trevor's decision as it was Dabo's decision. So I
I
mean,
mean,
that's
Trevor
not.
won the job, man. They said Justin Fields didn't do enough to win the job. I don't think they gave him the opportunity to win the
They
job.
never
But
they Kirby, but to my original point, Kirby is not a quarterback groomer. Dabo is. It's,
uh-huh,
it's just that simple. Look what he did. Look what he did with Deshaun Watson.
uh-huh.
I mean, so yeah. And then to answer your last question, Irv, so that we can move on. I definitely think that the playoffs should move to an 18 playoff. I absolutely do. Um, why not a 10-team playoff with a first round bye for the top two teams?
Yeah, I like that too. I think I'm gonna say one thing on that, Earth. I think every power conference should get a team in the playoff. If you're a Power Five conference, you should get your team in the playoff. A team should better go to the playoff.
Sound like you trying to hand out sprinkles right there, Mister Falern.
I mean, if you win the Big Ten, if you win the Big 12, ACC, SEC, what else? Big 10, Big 12. I mean,
So that would be
Pac-12.
that would be a consolation to winning your conference championship,
Yeah,
and
no
then
sprinkles.
that would absolve what you had to say about the conference championships, Ice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but then what about UCF? What
but
about Notre Dame? What
it's all
about
the money.
But then they still got to fight their way to the top.
Okay, my bad, y'all. I was
But at
off
least they
for a
got a
second.
chance.
It's a money grab with the NCAA. They know how much them conference championship games bring.
If
Absolutely.
My
Notre
phone
Dame,
went
if
out,
Notre Dame
Courtney.
go undefeated every year,
no?
they will
You
be in the
good,
playoff.
Courtney? And before we move on to the last and final segment, um, Mr. Young and Talented just got back into the show, so I want to hear your take, man, on Alabama and Clemson, and not only Alabama and Clemson, but just the playoff system. Do you think it needs to be expanded beyond four teams?
College basketball is fucking rigged, and it's
You mean
about
college
money.
football?
I mean, college football. Well, college basketball too. College football and basketball is rigged and about money. So them being rigged and about money is pretty much doesn't mean nothing with them expanding the playoff because it's rigged. But Clemson, Alabama gonna beat the hell out of Clemson. Um, I don't trust Clemson quarterback. He regular.
We was just talking
He
about how good he was versus a Justin Fields.
I
he's
said I,
regular.
I I echoed those sentiments, Courtney.
He
I said he was regular as well.
he's regular.
But
He
you
just
say he was Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
That's right, regular.
that's regular.
He
Regular.
said he said
Dak
he
an
throw the
NFL
ball like
quarterback.
Dak Prescott.
I
Oh,
said he
okay.
throw. I said he doesn't throw. He doesn't throw any better than Dak Prescott. He does not throw
Man,
the
that
outs well. He
is a
does not
lie.
throw the skinny post well. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Look at where he struggled in the Notre Dame games. He didn't struggle very much, but look at those throws that he tried to make, and look where he struggled. Yes, he's regular.
Hey, I mean, is this going to be the best quarterback Bama faced this year?
No, Kyler Murray's
No,
the best quarterback.
Oh yeah, I forgot they did
he's
just take
not better
Kyler
than
Murray. You're
Kyler
right.
Murray. No.
He's not better than Kyler Murray. Not at
No,
all.
ain't nobody in the country better than Kyler Murray.
But either way, he regular. I just don't. I just feel like he getting a lot of love for a team that was like priorly built, and he just regular. Like I don't really think much of him. I just think Tua gonna beat the hell out of them. He ain't Deshaun.
Nah.
So
Okay.
No,
and
he
you gonna
definitely
need
not
it.
the shine. No,
And you going like example, if you took Kyler Murray and switched those two quarterbacks,
And
Kyler
put him
Murray
on
legit.
Clemson.
Kyler Murray on Clemson legit got a shot to beat Bama. You put Sunshine over there, he ain't even coming back to make the game look good.
let me ask you one question, Courtney. Is he better than Kelly Bryant, the guy job he took?
He was regular too.
But was Sunshine better than him?
Same niggas. You just
Okay.
who you prefer over. I don't give one an edge over the other one. That's all. I don't give one over the edge because I seen Sunshine in games and shit look shaky, real shaky, and then something, a good play here, a bad call
Which
there,
is exactly what I
and
said.
then and then and then and then he pull off a win. I seen some real shaky games out of that boy this year.
Okay, okay. And speaking of shaky, we go from shaky to the non-shaky. But I'll say this: everybody knows I'm critical of LeBron, but I like LeBron. But I'm critical of him. And on his show, he actually has a show called the Barbershop. And I believe on this show he was discussing some things, and he basically came out of his mouth and said because he was on that Cleveland team that defeated the 73-9 Golden State Warriors that he is the GOAT. Now, I know how I feel about it, so I'm gonna start it off real quick and I'm gonna speak to LeBron directly. LeBron, you are the greatest of your generation, but you are not the greatest of all time. Stop it. I understand how you gotta feel that way being a competitor, but you're not that guy. But you're great. You're amazing, but you're not the top guy. But now I'm gonna send it over to Ice. Ice, you said you're a basketball guy. You said this is your wheelhouse right there. How do you feel about LeBron making those comments? Do you agree with him?
I think he trolls the internet, man. I
Okay.
don't like, I, man. This is just what the fuck, yo. Like, what? Yeah, okay, that was a great championship run he made. Draymond was out. Let's not forget that.
Mm-hmm.
But what he did was phenomenal. I'm not taking nothing away from that nigga. But if I'm not mistaken, the nigga went missing, man. Like, if it wasn't for Kyrie, them niggas don't win that chip. That nigga went
mm.
missing. Like, I
Mm.
tell people all the time, you can't just go off the stats with LeBron. You have to look at the entire game. Yeah, you got a triple double in the first half. What's your production in these last two quarters? I'll even give him the first three quarters. First three quarters, he's phenomenal. Fourth quarter, that nigga gets ghost. And that's why he got the fuck up out of Cleveland so fast, because he ain't have nobody to get a ball to in the clutch. And you had a meltdown in the finals. Like, what nigga has a meltdown on his team in the finals? Like, y'all still could have won the game. Yeah, JR did a bonehead mistake, but you're the best player on the planet. Act like it. Beat them. You had Steph on you and you passed the fucking ball. Sometimes making the right play isn't always the right play. So, GOAT, fuck no, man.
But
MJ all day, man.
okay, so Bo 2.0, I want you to get some of this real quick. How you feel about what LeBron said?
I don't even know why we even still be talking about this. Like, only we talk about it because he's the one that brought this up.
Mm-hmm.
And my issue is, how can you be the GOAT and you're not even the greatest winner in your generation?
You 3-6.
You 3-6 in the finals, my nigga. You 3-6 in the finals when it counts. Then he's talking about he the GOAT because he beat the 73-9 Warriors team. If I'm not mistaken, Cleveland best three players was probably better than Golden State best three players at the time. LeBron, Kyrie, and Love was better than Steph, Clay, and Draymond at the time. Am I lying?
You got
The
it.
team probably wasn't better, but you had a big three there. Okay, and you can't even when you say greatest player, you can't even define what is LeBron James defining moment. Like, what is his marquee play? Like, you remember Jordan the shot in Utah. You remember Magic Johnson the hook shot in the finals. What is LeBron? What is the marquee play? The block shot.
And they was already winning.
It's a block shot. It's his marquee play.
And
a block shot.
Let's not
play better than Kevin Love.
Huh?
Klay Thompson is better than Kevin Love.
I know Kyrie was their second best player. Kyrie better than Klay Thompson. I'm going by the best players. LeBron better than Steph. Kyrie better than Klay. Draymond, Love. Draymond better defensively. Kevin Love was better offensively.
And
that's all I'm saying.
Love was killing Draymond.
But yeah, he need to kill with that greatest of all time. I'm sick of it, man. We all know Michael Jordan the greatest of all time, man. He's 6-0 in the finals. The man got every award you can possibly name as a basketball player. Every award he won. Okay. Enough said, man. I'm done talking about it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to Courtney because I want D to be last on this particular subject.
Let me go before Courtney because Courtney's gonna break it down from I'm serious. Courtney's gonna break it down from a GM standpoint. So I'm gonna give it to you from the fan perspective because I've actually talked to Courtney about this and I like the take that Courtney has. So I'm gonna jump in on this.
Okay.
The way that I look at it is this. For LeBron to have said that, I had to evaluate the context. The context was, this is how I was feeling at that time. He never said that he feels that way today. He never says that he feels that way right now. He said at the time, 30 minutes after I got through crying, I reflected on the situation, and this is how I felt. I was like, "Dag, you the greatest of all time." Does he feel like that right now? I don't know. But in the context of the conversation, should he have kept it to himself? Yeah, I definitely believe he probably should have kept it to himself. But when you're doing a documentary, you want to let people into your most in the thoughts. It's similar to writing a book. You want to let people in and be totally authentic, and I think that's what he was trying to do. But to your point, Ice, he is an internet troll, and he does understand what ratings will do. And I firmly believe that the only reason that this made the cut is because he knew that everybody would go to go watch that episode because of what he said, before anything else, we all know that LeBron James is a businessman first. So that's my take on it. I don't think that he's the greatest of all time. I don't think that he thinks he's the greatest of all time. But in the context of the situation, I can understand where he was coming from.
Oh, can I say one thing before Courtney say something? We talking about LeBron being better than Jordan. Like, my thing is, when did he surpass Kobe? That's what I'm trying to figure out. When did that happen?
That's a fact.
That's all I got to say.
He been past Kobe.
All right, well, Courtney, give us the GM perspective. Talk to us. How do you feel about what he said?
Is totally different, man.
As far as him saying he's the greatest ever because of that particular sheet, I was kind of like, nigga, what? Like, you lost the year before. You won the year before, like after, like it just was, It's weird to hear him say him being the greatest ever. Can he be the greatest ever? Yeah, he can be the greatest.
No, it's over.
No, he can still be the greatest ever. Will he? I doubt it. But does he have the opportunity? Yeah, he got 3 more years, and he has to win about 3 more awards and 2 more rings. Are you capable of? Yeah, I'm not gonna tell that man he's not capable of doing anything. Will he? Highly doubt it. But being the greatest ever for him, I don't know. It's a lot of asterisks in the breakdown. Like his greatest ever is weird because outside of scoring, he's never led the league in anything statistically. He's never been a league leader in anything statistically outside of scoring. He has all of the offensive numbers, but he doesn't have any of the defensive numbers that some of the GOATs that people would put in front of him has. So when you say greatest ever, they kind of throw it off because are you now trying to use the I play in a different era where it's different type of athlete, different type of player, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But to me, greatest player ever is not about who you go against; it's about the specimen you was. There weren't a lot of faults in Michael Jordan's game. There was nothing you could pinpoint and say, make him do this. We got a shot because it was everything he could do. There's ways to build teams to defeat LeBron James.
Yep.
There's ways to schematically slowing Braun down, not stat wise because he'll pad his stats, but overall in the game, there's ways to do it to slow him down. So him being the greatest ever without accomplishing half the things Mike did, it's kind of like I wouldn't even say disrespectful. It's not even so much trolling. It's he knew it would get attention to his show, so he bring him dollars into the show. So
That's
he
true.
knew it would spark that interest. But like this is the weird shit I've been telling people about Braun for years. Yo, bro, don't wait till year 16. You done went to multiple teams and everybody on your side to poke out your chest and start talking big. The time to start talking big is after you won it. I'm the greatest ever right here, and then worry about us coming to see your ass next year. When you in LA, that shit is bullshit, bro. You wait to like it's just weird how he waits to. I don't know, bro. He a hip
His
hop
timing,
historian. He's the
timing is
best player
always
ever.
right.
This nigga's a whole lot of shit
Yeah.
without the credibility. This shit just throws me off.
Hey,
This
I got a
is
question,
just
Courtney.
weird.
When did he surpass Kobe though?
He been surpassed Kobe, bro.
He didn't.
When?
Let's not do that with the Kobe LeBron thing.
He didn't.
We know who the separate terms. We know who carried a franchise bigger was LeBron James. I
Kobe.
carried the franchise bigger than Kobe did. Kobe went to a situation that first he forced himself into. Two, it was designed for him to be successful around a bunch of successful executives, coaches, and players.
But you don't think it's more? You don't think it's more pressure for Kobe leading a team in LA than it is in Cleveland?
Why was
It
it pressure
is
when hold on,
facts.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Why would it have been pressure when the
What do you
year he
mean?
got drafted?
The Lakers go by his championship or
I
bust.
got you. I got you. Why are you giving Kobe Bryant the pressure as the 18-year-old guy off the bench, like Shaquille O'Neal hadn't just left the finals in '95 and was traded to that same team? But LeBron James, who walked in the door as the guy at 18 years old with the Cleveland
All
Cavaliers,
right, so you
I
referring you
didn't have
referring
that
to the
pressure.
Kobe that led Paul Gasol in them, or you
Yeah.
referring to the Kobe that
Oh,
okay,
Kobe
okay.
by himself.
Yeah, that's a little different take on things. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, Courtney's right. They still constructed that team to win with
It
Kobe.
was
You had
built for
Lamar
Kobe.
Odom, you
It
had
was built
Ron
for them.
Artest, you had
Not
Eric
every
Fisher.
team Kobe's had. All right, I'm gonna
Yeah,
give you an example. When we seen Kobe finally by himself, y'all, 05, 06, 07, it was missed playoffs, first round out to a sweep, first round up being 3-1. Bro, that was four finals runs in 7 years in. That's when he was actually by himself. But and everybody on this panel, no, I'm not a LeBron fan. But we're not gonna act like that boy ain't come in '03 and carry Cleveland to the finals by '07 by myself, bro. I ain't got no Shaquille O'Neal. I ain't have no Phil
his
Jackson and
second
Jerry
best
West at the
player on the
time.
team was Carlos Boozer and
Yeah,
and, and,
like
and, and
we
Larry
gotta
Hughes.
stop with the Kobe because even with the Kobe shit, everybody like to go. He the second greatest shooting guard compared to Michael Jordan, only offensively because Kobe ain't got the defensive numbers that Mike had neither. So
Kobe.
Kobe
he
got
mimicked.
Uh,
Kobe got defense. He got 9 times. He won defense the first team
Oh, he
9 times.
yeah he got
How many
he, yeah,
times he
he
was the
got first
defensive
team
player of the
All
year?
NBA, not
How many
not
times was he defensive player of the year?
He
he
wasn't
was
never defense
never
player of the
How
year.
many times did he lead the league in steals?
I don't
I
know. I
don't
got to look that
I
up.
don't never
Never.
never.
How many? And he was never led the league in steals. How many times did he do 250 steals and 100 blocks? Never. He
He
is
still got
only
first team
Michael
defense
Jordan.
9 times.
He's only Michael Jordan offensively. Yes,
So
he made
so
it 9
Courtney,
times,
Courtney,
but
let
can
me
you
ask
show
you a
me the
Mike,
question.
years?
Mike,
Hold on, Courtney. So you brought up some interesting stats. Let me ask you a question. Are you statistically saying that because the only people that measure up to Michael Jordan by those statistics defensively is Dwayne Wade? So are you saying that Dwayne Wade is over Kobe?
Again, y'all have always known me. I'm only when I'm referring to if we talking shooting guards ever, no. When we're talking about being greatest ever, and Mike is up there. Mike did it on both sides of the plate. Like Bo said, I
Kobe
got
did
awards
too,
in both.
though. Kobe was checking the
I
best
don't think
player.
that I don't
Okay,
think that he's
but
saying
we're
that Kobe
saying
didn't do it on both sides of the ball. He's saying that he didn't do it at the level that
he
Mike did.
did not
Only
do that
only
at a high
award that
level.
only award Kobe that Michael Jordan got that Kobe didn't get is defensive player of the year.
Defensive player of the year.
Excuse me.
That's it.
Michael Jordan led the league in steals 3 times, Bo. Stop being disrespectful.
Okay.
That's a fact.
He led the league,
So hold
Bo.
on. When did LeBron win
Michael
any of the
Jordan
awards?
is the only dude to multiple times do 250 steals and 100 blocks, Bo. That's
Okay.
real.
So
So
LeBron don't got them either though, Courtney. LeBron don't got that either.
Again,
yeah.
I started this discussion off with it got to be on both sides of the plate. But now let's go mano y mano. Let's take defense out. LeBron James did more with less than what Kobe did. Am I lying?
He was in the East.
So here we go again.
He
Now
was
it's
in
because he
the
was
East.
in the East.
East.
So losing to the Phoenix Suns was okay.
You said
Phoenix.
what? No, he shouldn't have lost that series. They was up 3-1. He should have won that series. I do
So
give you that.
okay, so he was swept once, he lost again the next one, and he missed the playoffs the first time. Why y'all acting like that didn't happen?
Why y'all acting like LeBron didn't get swept twice?
LeBron got swept twice,
LeBron
bro.
James got
But
swept.
LeBron ain't
Bo,
never. But
excuse
LeBron
me,
ain't never went
LeBron
out in the
James
first
did get
round.
swept. LeBron got swept in 2007, the 4th-year player in the NBA Finals. Kobe Bryant, his first year after 6 years, 4 straight finals, the bitch missed the playoffs, y'all. Then he went swept in first round out.
And
Why y'all acting like
LeBron
that didn't exist for that man?
LeBron ain't never got put out in the first round.
Start wearing Kobe still 2010, 2011. Niggas was wearing bronze from day one.
People still wear
Bron
Kobe now.
was.
What
We
you
got to
talking about?
stop acting like that. Now he was a better scorer. He got a better mentality. He got more of a dog. But overall in our careers, how I didn't pass this nigga. He never did it by himself. When he was by himself, he cried. He got on national television and said, "I'll go to the Bulls. Get me some help."
Or the
Who was
Wizards.
who was
He
his
also
second
said the
best
Wizards.
player there?
See, here you go. Who was the second best player? But we don't. But then we give that same. We don't give
LeBron do
LeBron
that.
James that bullshit
LeBron
when
do
he had
that shit
Anthony
every
LeBron
year.
fucking
do that too,
Parker.
Courtney. So
LeBron do
LeBron
that
don't
shit
cry.
every year.
LeBron
LeBron
don't
got a
Name
cry.
whole
name
new
LeBron
roster.
James team
All
in
right.
07.
Well,
Don't,
fellas,
don't sound so
fellas,
sluggish, Irv.
fellas.
Nah,
No,
my bad,
I
Herb. But
got the
this is
same
where I get
energy,
it because
man.
I hate when
Listen,
people do that to Cole. Niggas that do that to Kobe Irv and say Kobe was this, but I can give you AI going by his fucking self and carrying niggas in the East, and everybody go, well, he ain't Kobe. Nigga, I didn't have Shaq, Robert Horry, Ron Harper, Phil Jackson, Glenn Robinson, Rick Fox. Nigga, he got 1,000 dudes on them teams.
but I tell you, man, we had some really, really good, powerful conversations today. But it
He
is
ain't
that
go guard
time.
Allen Iverson when Allen was giving them
We are
30 a night.
coming.
That nigga sent Tyronn Lue and Derek Fisher. Make sure y'all remember that. Mr.
Yeah,
Defense.
we are coming up to our final perspective, and just getting ready. It's the playoffs. It's a lot of good things happening in the sports world,
Hey, let me go
and
first.
we back in effect. Okay, Courtney, final perspective, brother.
Final perspective. In 2019, I am no longer allowing, this includes my panel, I am no longer allowing people to shade other people for personal perspectives that they're going to be honest in this. And I say that to say, because I already sent this to D Phone, but I've been waiting for this whole time for y'all. I say this to say that both people agreed on my panel, most people agreed that they got their ass whipped the entire game of the Houston and the Colts game. And I pulled up the play-by-play, message by message, quarter by quarter. And it goes as followed, and I'm going to finish at that. It goes punt, 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 punt. Touchdowns, Texans 7-0. Punt, 7-0, 7-0. Interception, again, 7-0 until close to the middle of the second quarter. Then Andrew Luck scored. End of the first quarter, he scores a 7-7. They went into the half 17-7. First start of the third quarter, 17-14, 24-14. Then he scored 21 with 2.5 minutes left in the game, and they couldn't get a stop on them 3 drives. There was no ass whooping. They was always within a
Ass whooping.
touchdown or two.
Ass whooping.
How if I had the lead and you
Ass
win
whooping.
17-7 down, 10 ain't no ass
If
whooping.
the
That is false. I just gave y'all
ass whooping.
facts on what
Ass
y'all told me that
ass
he couldn't
whooping.
score the
Hold
If
on,
whole game,
that's his final
but the
perspective.
Colts
Let
did
him
not
get
score.
okay.
on.
All
The
right.
Colts did not score more than them. Texans were scoring first, and they were evened out. They were up by 10 at best. That's not an ass whooping. I've seen people come down from 21 in games. Y'all got to stop being disrespectful when it comes to other players because of what y'all look at. They are the same dudes, bro. People giving Andrew Luck more love than they want to give Deshaun because everybody is dying for this boy to be the next Peyton Manning.
But those,
And he got counterparts in this league that's right there with him.
but those are some serious shoes to fill. Peyton Manning is one of the greats, so I do not envy Andrew Luck and having to follow up such a legend. D. Stanfield, your picture is on the front, so I'm gonna go right to you. Give the world your final perspective, sir.
Hey, my final perspective is how I started the season. Uh, Jim Harbaugh, you didn't win against Ohio State. You didn't even win your bowl game. You got that ass whooped. Get the hell up out of college football because that's not where you belong. Get back to the NFL and get Sean McDermott out of my goddamn Buffalo Bills
Nah,
because he doesn't belong there.
I like
We-
McDermott.
I don't like McDermott. I never have liked McDermott. McDermott is a troll. He's not a head coach. He's losing the locker room on a daily basis. So I don't care what anybody has to say. Get Jim Harbaugh up back up in the NFL where he belongs. And that's my final perspective, man.
All right, all right, all right. Bo, I'm gonna save you for last. We're gonna go to our special guest, and thank you for joining us today, Amir.
Anytime, brother.
Yeah,
Anytime.
appreciate you. So right now we're in the final perspective segment. I'd like you to give the world your final perspective.
All I gotta say is Michael Jordan is the GOAT. LeBron James, you are great, but you're not even on my Mount Rushmore. You're top 5, but you're not. Mount Rushmore only holds 4. So, MJ, man, all day.
MJ all day, and all day we got the Bo 2.0. And so right now I'ma ask Bo what his final perspective is.
My final perspective is James Harden. I said this a couple of days ago. I'm gonna put it on wax on the show. Besides Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, James Harden is the most gifted shooting guard ever behind on 3 on the offensive side of the ball. I think James Harden is a top 5 scorer the NBA has
Shut
ever
up!
seen. Let me finish, man. I didn't say that. Let me finish. Ain't nobody say shit when you were talking about Sean McDermott. You shut up. Shit. Okay. I think James Harden.
D-Wade, flash for life. All right, I'm done.
Okay. I think James Harden is a top 5 scorer ever the NBA has ever seen. I got James Harden right now as the top 5 shooting guard all time right now.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say top 5, I got Kobe, Jordan, no order, Kobe, Jordan, Wade, Iverson, James Harden. If you think anybody you can put ahead of James Harden, let me motherfucking know. Because that boy is a walking bucket. You understand me?
That I
A
agree with.
walking bucket.
That I agree with. He is top
Yes.
5.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
but he's
No
the
doubt.
best scorer in the NBA. I
Just
think he's
sneeze
top 5
on.
shooting guard right now as we speak all time. That's all I got to say. That's my final statement.
He a better scorer than KD?
Shooting guard. Yeah, I think he is. I think he is. I think KD get himself guarded too many times. You can't guard
Okay.
it. KD unguardable too. But James Harden just because you can't touch him.
Again,
If you
James
can't
Harden
touch
to me
KD
the
gave
Kirk
the Claw
Cousins of the
finish.
James Harden to me. James Harden to me is the Tony Romo of the NBA. He gonna
you
give you
can't touch
everything.
him.
Well, I tell
Give you
y'all.
everything you need in the regular season, but as soon as you get to the playoffs, he gonna be like a paper airplane and consistently fold.
All right, all right. And I guess my final perspective is I'm really excited about this playoffs. We got some fresh blood in the playoffs. The Bears are back. The Ravens are back. Houston is there. So it's a lot to be excited about. There is a new guard of quarterbacks coming in as we have the old guard getting old, the Ben Roethlisbergers, the Tom Brady's, the Phillip Rivers. they're getting old, and it's almost time for them to move on. And I believe the NFL is in good hands with these young guys, the Andrew Lucks, the Deshaun Watsons, the Lamar Jacksons, the
Yeah.
Baker Mayfields, the Carson Wentz, Jared Goff. It's a lot of young, fresh talent in the NFL right now, and I think the NFL is in a good place, man. So it's
Hey, Irv.
about that time, y'all. Let's enjoy some playoff football.
Hey,
Yes,
Irv.
sir.
Yes.
Where was Me Too when Ben Roethlisberger was around raping these girls?
God damn.
Wow. That's a question for another show, sir. And to that, I'll say, peace and blessings, world.
Hey, good timing too, man. We did good today. We did good today.
Excellent time and good way to watch over that, Irv.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good day, man.
All
All
right,
All right.
right,
brother.
y'all
You
too,
too.
man.
All right.